Right guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel. We've got Pete in the chair today. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. How are
you? Good? I'm alright, I can't complain, mate. Nice weather.
Yeah.
From what I've heard anyway, so you know. So what are we doing today? What's the plan?
Well, I've kind of, since lockdown, I've kind of kept it long doing stuff, but I think it's starting to, age is catching up, so it's starting to thin out a little bit here.
Okay.
It used to be quite thick hair as it is around here, but I'm kind of up for anything. Like, I'm happy, I've had so many different types of haircuts, like hair undercut quite a lot, but I'm up to take it all off, so I'm up for anything, honestly.
Okay, right,
Whatever you think is best, honestly.
Whatever I think's best. Okay, famous last words then,
absolutely,
Depends what I'm in the mood for. What time are we finishing today?
Wow.
Okay, well, I mean, buzz cut is probably the extreme, right? I would say so. Especially if you feel like ages catch up to you, it might not be good. Just straight away. But let's have a look at what we're working with at the minute. All right. So you've got an undercut going on at the moment, right? And then it looks a little, you can see the undercut cutting through there, right? I would say first of all, the undercut when your hair is starting to thin out a little bit on top, it's probably not the best haircut to have because it just sits very flat, okay? And with you having a beard as well, it elongates your face, all right? So I wouldn't suggest doing something like that. You can always have a disconnection within the haircut, maybe if it's just a fringe, for example, or whatever, but I think when you've got such a heavy disconnection, your hair is quite a fine texture, it will just sit quite flat. So it'll be quite limp, which we don't really want, right? But you're up for anything, right? You're up for a change.
I really don't care what you want to do.
Okay, all right. Well, let me have a little look what I can think is a good option to go for. Well, first of all, I would take the undercut out, okay, straight away, because I don't know whether it's gonna work that well. Because I mean, even as it is sitting now, it's kind of coming out like this, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of bellowing out a little bit. But I think let's have a little look how it sits. What about? See, I think looking at your fringe over like that doesn't look like you're thinning out one little bit. No. But I think when you do this...
I used to have a side part fit.
Did you?
Yeah, it went like that.
Okay. More than a side part. But if you do that, that's when you really notice it more, right? What about if we were to cut the top down short enough that you can still put product in it, but that we can work with the fringe coming over without a part in it, just so it sits over like this. And then everything else can be taken in on the back and sides. A lot of texture through the top, because if you were to wear your hair coming more forwards, you've got a double crown on the left hand side, but it's not too bad because of the way your hair texture is, right? It's not going to stick up too much, okay? Because it does fall quite heavy. But I think when you came in and your hair was brushed back and it was kind of separated like that, if you come here a second, Liam, if you look at the top, right, that really exposes the top and how much more if it can be thinner, right? But then if we do this, and we bring it forwards. So say, I'm not going to say comb it forwards, but if it was more coming forwards, right? And then you had the fringe coming over, it was just messy, it was just textured, you were going with that natural wave you've got in your hair and all that. Look at how thick that looks now on the top. It's just the double crown that you can see, which that would naturally be there anyway. And also looking straight on, it looks like, if that's all balanced and cut in, say it was like taken to like, say, sorry buddy.
That's right.
Say it was taken to about maybe that length on the top. So you've got enough that it just has that little bit of bend in there. And it comes over, and then the top was cut to match, and it was textured, and then you put maybe a little bit of clay or powder or something in to really mess it up. I think you wouldn't notice your hair being this thin instantly. Back and sides is entirely up to you, whatever you'd like.
You quite like it quite short actually, and kind of fading it up. I'm not sure what the base number you want, but
it's up to you, mate. Whatever you like.
Tight and kind of blend it into the beard needs a massive trim anyway, so it just needs to be blended kind of in a little bit. Quite tight. I quite like it quite tight. Always have done.
Sure thing. Do you prefer it more tight, just coming down into the beard, or not obviously not too high on the side of the back? Do you prefer it more like a taper, more than anything else, like blended down, or?
Yeah, maybe like I'm not really sure in terms of what I'm talking about. It's been quite like 0.50 kind of down through here, and then I kind of let the beard kind of go from that 0 down here. It comes down to like a 4 around here. So.
Okay. Sure. All right. Well, I mean, we can always take more off, right? Basically. So what about if we did maybe like a low one to start with? And then that way you can decide if that's too short. Because don't forget, the whole haircut's going to change. So when you might have been having a half or a 0 on there, it might have been slightly longer on top, so it might not have looked as short. You know what I mean? But because we're taking more off the top, if we do a 1, it might look short to you as well. You know what I mean? So we can still keep it nice and tight.
Yeah.
But if we do the one quite low, then we can either get away with doing the one as the predominant length through the back and sides, quite low, taper the neck nice and tight into like a 0, same on the beard. We can blend that down into there as well. So we can have the one as the predominant length and then everything else can taper out. So we can do more of a taper finish on the sideburns and the neck.
Sounds great.
Just as an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
All right, cool, man.
Great.
Cool.
That's it.
Easy enough. I thought when you said you were questions, I was thinking, how many questions?
Well, I have no idea. So
that's all right. That's all right. I do. So that's all right. But no, trust me, it makes it easier when you're laid back. Yeah. If you, the thing is, we get here, and I get personally a lot of clients who come to me and just go, do what you want. But it doesn't really help me that at all. Like, do what you want, because it could be anything. They could be there for an hour talking about what they want to do. But when you explain what you like or what you don't like, or you're quite open to it and you're quite laid back about how we do, and as we're talking through the haircut, you're kind of seeing where I'm going with it. It does make it a lot easier to get that look perfect, like first, like straight away. Sure. So yeah, all right, good. We'll get you gowned up and we'll go from there.
Sweet.
All right, cool. So we've just, I've just wet down Pete's hair. Now I'm going to start on the top and cut the shape in to start with. Then everything else I'm going to blend down through the back and sides. One of the main reasons for this is that you see the haircut coming to life. I can see the finished result on the top. Then I know how high to take the blend on the sides and the back, but also Pete gets to see it. Well, maybe without his glasses on, he doesn't get to see it. But you know what I'm trying to do. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start at the back. I'm going to part it from just before the double crown. So if you have a little look, there's Pete's double crown. One there, one there. So what I'm going to do, I'll take a section just before the crown. I'm pretty sure Pete's crown is going to be okay. But again, it's always, for me, it's that prevention over cure. I'd rather not cut the crown while I can. So it only needs to be literally like a centimetre away from the crown, really. As long as you don't cut into the crown, you'll be fine. There we go. Now I'm going to take the length down top. Now I want to go to a length that is just long enough to be able to put product in and get some movement in it. Now, I think for Pete's happy to go with my advice, right? So I'm going to take off about that, because then there's still enough length there to play around with and still texturize it, but also it's going to get longer to the front as well. So I reckon about that will be nice. All right? And Pete's words were, I don't know if you caught this, Liam, but I actually don't care. I've had every haircut, I just want a haircut, which is cool, yeah, perfect. Gives me a lot more scope, which is nice.
And the only thing I haven't done is shave it all off.
Is that the only thing you haven't done, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty much it, yeah. I don't want to look like my dad, really. No thanks, sorry, Dad.
I do hope your dad's watching this, that would be quite nice.
He won't.
Yeah, we don't want to make him a little bit jealous, do we? That's the problem, Mind you saying that, a lot of bald men do watch it, you'd be surprised. No. You'd be surprised.
I'm always, some of my friends, they're like, don't know where I should just shave it off. I'm always like, just shave it, you'll look so much better. And then they do. Yeah. Do
you know what? It does come a point where there's only so much you can do. Yeah. And I think if you are going to lose your hair, I'd say most people suit a bald head if they're going to lose it. I do really think that, because especially if you can grow a beard, like you've got such a strong beard. I think if you had a shaved head, you could do something with the beard that would look really cool. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I honestly do. There we go. And just getting gradually longer as we get to the front now. So what we do is just pull the section back a touch, just to over direct it a little bit. And that will maintain more length at the front. Now, just if you start hearing all these drilling noises and stuff, we are in the middle of a building site pretty much at the moment. The whole building's being just upgrading the building. So the apologies for the noises that you may have heard in these more recent videos.
So when did the whole YouTube thing start to kind of take off for you? Because it kind of just seemed to, because I remember watching one about 2 or 3 years ago, and then it just suddenly just went crazy.
Lockdown, probably just before lockdown. Maybe I think it was one of our videos, the scissor cut video. It just really took off. It was around the time people were cutting their own hair, and I think people were searching on Google how to cut their own hair, and obviously our channel was just coming up. I think also though as well, I mean, credit to Liam and Josh who run it. They've been very good at replying to people online. So they've built a community of people who, especially when maybe we had like 10,000 subscribers or 20,000 subscribers, that, you know, constant contact with people commenting does help, doesn't it, as well? It builds the algorithm, it helps you get noticed. And that's kind of what, you know, it was a full-time thing, wasn't it, Liam, and to, you know, do that. And then, yeah, we started getting more notice from, you know, media outlets as well. So like we had one where we did a haircut off a film called Extraction, which was the Chris Hemsworth film that came out in lockdown. Came out in like, I'm sure it was like 2020 it came out. And we did a video on the mannequin of that haircut, because we had mannequins and we were like, well, might as well just, I can do any haircut on this mannequin, right? No, there's going to be no complaints, right? So I thought, and Liam was like, why don't we do like a movie haircut? I'm like, oh yeah, what could we do? And obviously Extraction was just about to come out on Netflix. Everyone was at home, so no one's going to the cinema. So Netflix was getting absolutely pounded, wasn't it, by everyone, you know? So everyone was signing up. Apparently they had like record number of sign-ups and all that, right? So we ended up doing the Extraction haircut. And then I think it was you messaged me, didn't you? You were like, the traffic's coming from Men's Health magazine. You were like, what? And Men's Health magazine online, I'd reposted our video of like the haircut, maybe the haircut to get after lockdown, you know, like the summer haircut, because we came out of lockdown, didn't we, in July here, and it was like maybe this could be your summer post-lockdown trim, and it was our Extraction video on the mannequin, and obviously that helps because, you know, when you get recognised by such a big company like, you know, a big name like Men's Health, everyone knows Men's Health, don't they? You know, even if you're not in that world, you still know Men's Health. And I think it was just around that time, 2020, really, 2019, 2020, it all started kind of taking off, didn't it? I'd say. Yeah, it's always been on it. It's never really been in a decline, was it? So I think you're always going to get growth. Yeah, if you're sticking to it and you're being consistent with what you're delivering, I think you're always going to get growth, aren't you? You know, and obviously, you know, we've been consistent in terms of like, you know, like we don't, you know, we haven't changed the channel really. We've just changed locations because we could change location, you know, and we can film more here. It's a lot more silent. Yeah, just that really. That's the only thing that's changed, I suppose.
Also, I think men are just wanting to do more and more with their hair now.
Yeah, and that as well. Yeah, God, yeah. Again, I think lockdown helped. As much as lockdown was horrendous for pretty much everyone, you know, it was awful for me, as well as, you know, because obviously my industry was closed. We were forcibly shut down. So that was the hardest bit about it. Really, was that we were told to shut down. But yeah, it was just one of those things. You just had to like, we had to just kind of get on with it, and that was the only way we could do it, was filming mannequins and stuff like that, and film my little boy and stuff like that, you know, that's all we could do. But the benefit of lockdown is that more people were at home, more people were watching YouTube, more people were learning to cut their own hair. And also I think as well, it gave more respect to my profession, because I think people realised how hard it is to do this job. Not only like down to like the technical aspect of it, but like, you know, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time, and it's quite, you know, it can be quite tiring and stuff like that. I think people realise that, you know, it isn't an easy job as once thought. You know, this is now a career choice more than it being like something that was like, I always remember when I was in school, this was never a career. This was like a fallback thing, you know. It was like, well, I remember someone saying to me, well, you know, if it doesn't work out, you could always do hairdressing. As if like that was like, you know, it was in the same respect of like just doing what is classed as like a service job, you know what I mean? A job that is a necessity more than that it should be a fun job to do as well. And that, you know, that was what it was kind of classed as. Like, you know, if you look back to a lot of old films as well, hairdressing was always like, oh, they cut hair. Oh, okay. That's it, it was always like, you know, it was always a negative thing, wasn't it, you know? Whereas I think now it's, and probably the last 5 years or so, like especially barbering's obviously grown massively, but I think the hair industry in general has grown like huge as well. You know, it is a full-on career now. People are really, really keen to get involved in the job, and you know, they realise that you can do some incredible things. I mean, I've seen the world with this job, man. I've been flown all around the world, pretty much. I've seen so much of. I've done more things in with this job than I could have possibly done with any other job that I know of. You know, met some incredible people, made some really good friends. You know, there's so many things I've done in this job that I could never have even dreamed of doing. You know, before I left school. You know,
not bad for a fallback, is it?
It's not bad for a fallback job, yeah, exactly. Well, it was either this or fisherman, I got told, so, you know. Could have travelled the world with a fisherman as well, let's be honest, but...
Not quite the same
I don't know. Maybe this is a little bit less tiring. I'd imagine a lot more dry as well, which is quite nice. And I don't like. And the funny thing is, I'm not a very good swimmer, so I don't know where they got fishermen from. So if I go overboard, I'm gone. So. Whereas here, the worst thing I can do is get a little cut on my finger. You know what I mean? That's the worst thing I can get, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I've cut that fringe in, just to a nice length. So that we've still got some length in that fringe, but also that it's going to balance either side, so it can fall which way. It's not hanging over. It's not undercut. Yeah. It's not disconnected. It's all connected in. Yeah. And we're just allowed to still play around with that as well. Okay.
Awesome.
Back on me a little bit. I'm just going to point it into the fringe a little bit as well, just to break it up. Only a little bit. So I think we've got a bit of a Regal Gentleman exclusive here, because we've now found Pete, who's going to be our new voiceover for the new channel, who's going to sing the theme tune now, aren't you, mate?
Well, apparently. So.
Well, if it's on camera, it's true, so you know.
I'm never going to be hiding in the industry. Or maybe we'll take off.
Maybe. Exactly. We could be your fallback, you never know.
Not bad. Work for you, work for me.
Exactly, mate, exactly. What we're saying there, Pete's an opera singer, so that's where the little joke off camera came from before. But I just thought I'd say it on camera, because then obviously you might be bullied into it then, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I expect my agent to be in touch. I get an agent.
Exactly. We could be your agents, you never know. Right, I'm just going to dry this off now. Now we've left the crown, because obviously I always tend to leave the crown till the very end. So I've left the crown to sit in the way it wants to fall, and then I will work on that sort of freehand as we work into the sides and the back as well. I'm just trying to fringe up. Like so. A little bit of salt spray in there as well, just because I want the style to start sitting in now. Okay? So let's see what it's going to look like when it's finished, and all we do is blend the back and sides into the top. Okay. Now I'm going to work down into a low one. I'm going to start with a 4. I'm going to work down to a 1. I want it to be a very gradual blend. Onto my size 5 comb, and I'm going to start at the back now as well. Okay, so start with my 4. And start around the back and work to the left hand side, then around to the right hand side as well. Working up and off. You can see, I want to take some length down here, because as you see, with the length being so heavy, it's very flat. So I want to take some shortness through here to make that stand out a bit more like that as well. Okay, more than it's sitting really flat. Now I'm going to descend in the guards. Okay, so I'm going to start now on a 3.5, then into a 3, 2.5, 2, so on down to 1. All right. I find that's such a lovely kind of blend. More than it being like a fade, as we think of a fade, I think it'd be nice just to do a really nice graduation down to a 1. I think it'll just work so well for what we're trying to achieve. That really kind of just nice, smart finish towards the edges. You know, there will still be obviously the fading element, because a fade is a blend, and you know, that's what it kind of means. But I don't want it to be too harsh. I don't want it to stand out too much for him. I want just to really, I want everything to work more than just one element of the haircut to be there. So my 3.5 up into my 4. You can see what as I'm going up, I'm not actually touching this bit with the blade. It's just the ends of the guard that's touching the top bit. Like that. Now onto a 3. I'm going around the ear, because that's the way the hair grows. Just pulling that ear out the way, like so. And just copy the other side. onto my 3. I'm working the 3 around to the back now. There we go. Now, moving on to our number 2. So same again, starting from the back, working our 2.5 up into the number 3, working up into our 3. So as you can see, we're getting lower down the head, the lower down we're going with the gradients. So again, 4, 3.5, 3, 2.5, 2, 1, and so on. And just that same motion, in, up and out, creates a very nice natural blend. As you can see, there's no harsh lines being left in the hair, even though we've gone down to from a 4 to a 2 so far. As you can see, the motion is creating a very nice smooth blend. Same again this side, back, I'll leave it down, 2.5, working up into the 3. Piercing that, isn't it? Jesus, metal on metal that. Now on to our number 1, leave it down, 1.5, and working up into our 2. Down to our number 1. Now while we're here, we'll start to blend the beard in as well, so leave it down. We'll start to blend the beard in. Teeth facing the face to add that graduation. And just work lower down to 1. And then we'll do 0.5 just up here to taper out. One guard on, turn it around, and work down the cheek, like so. Half, so open blade, half, lever pull down, just working up and off into my 1. Start at the back. Now, lift this all the way up, add some elevation, and take the length of that I think will fit to that shape at the back. There we go. So you can see already before we've even taken this bit down here, that's setting a lot more nice into the silhouette. So now we'll move on to our detailing around the hairline, and just start getting this to sit nice and clean, and we can also start to shape up the beard a bit as well. Let's just strengthen up the temple too. Because there's a beard, I'm going to add a little bit of shape into this, so it sits really nice and smart. And try and stay away from cutting into the hairline too much. And this is what will really help the taper to stand out a little bit as well, having this detail. Do you normally shape the cheeks as well? Or?
Yeah, I usually kind of have a little bit of a curve on them, so instead of it being straight, it's kind of like...
Yeah.
I mean, I can't see a thing, so whatever you...
Trust me. There's a slight curve on there, yeah. But no, you can have a little look when we've finished and you put your glasses on, you can see.
Yeah.
We'll start with the crown, so we can cut this in. You see all that length has been left from when we sat it down. So I'm going to cut away from the crown and just match up. Point cut into that to soften it as well. Let's just point cut into that. Because the crown's sitting nice, I can see it's working, so. And I'm just working through the corners, just to break them up a little bit as well. There we go. Put them up for me, see what you think.
Cheers, man.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah, nice. Hair gone, yeah. It's great.
Happy, yeah?
Yeah, it's awesome, yeah.
Cool, man. So that's down to a 1, half on the sides, blend it down into the beard as well for you. All right, and then just shaped it up for you on the cheeks.
Yeah, awesome.
And just on the back. So to finish off, a little bit of powder, okay? So you just don't need a lot, okay? Just a little bit. And then break it across like that, so across the top of the head. And then bring that up and over.
Awesome.
I think your hair looks so thick.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like you're losing it at all, mate, if anything, mate.
So much.
But I mean, when you were having it longer and it was all separated and stuff, that's
so
when you
long.
start to notice it a bit more. But I just wanted to give you something that was going to be a little bit more kind of suited to where you're at now.
Yeah.
And it just kind of blends in with what's going on.
Awesome.
just slightly over to one side, pushed up at the front a little bit, and then just balanced everywhere else, working with the crown, working with the way the hair wants to fall naturally. Again, one of the benefits of doing something that blends in like this is that, you know, it's going to grow out nicely for you as well. Have no problems. You could leave it for a few more weeks extra if you wanted to, if you like, you know, if you do enjoy a bit more length, but and that's a really good length for you to keep on top of as well, mate. You know what I mean?
Nice and easy.
Yeah. Happy, yeah?
Yeah, awesome.
Cool, man. Thank you very much.
Cheers, buddy.
You're welcome, mate. Thank you.